it has any type of special attack or anything like that, it will tell you in this information box. So there's the Thor. Also, Thors are very slow and clunky, so be very careful with them. They'll bump into each other and just grind on each other for a very long time, so you have to make sure you're looking after them. Right, so that is pretty much all the ground units.
No problem.
Inbound.
Now onto the air units. So, the first one from the starport is going to be a Viking. The Viking is an air-to-air unit with the special ability. Let's talk about the air unit first. So, the Viking does 11 damage via armored, and no, sorry, 11 damage per standard. So anything it'll attack will do 11 damage. Via armored, it's going to do 15, and more importantly, it does 2 attacks as well. So, you know, a standard one's going to be 11 times 2, that's 22. Armored 15 is 30. Its range is 9, so it has a very good range. Its weapon speed is 2, and like I said, it only targets air. So it can only attack what's in the air. Like these. Okay. Back into the Viking. It has something called ground mode, which it can be very funky. If say you're floating around and you notice there's a bunch of harvesters at a base, you can just land them on the high ground behind the mineral lines, wherever safe, and attack the mineral line, which is really good because it's so easy to do. The moment anything comes, you lift off and fly away. They don't do that much damage. They do 13 per standard. They have a range of 6 and the weapon speed is 1. So it does alright. But you don't really want to fight with these in the ground. This is not the option. So yeah, there's the Viking. Next is the medevac, which is, I've shown you briefly. The medevac heals units, which is very nice to have. So if we have these 3 marines by here, we stim them, so they lose 10 health. The medevac comes over and automatically heals them. The medevac will also count as a dropship, so you can put units in it. So this is one of the strong points of the Terran race. Normally, a lot of their play revolves around stuff like this. You pretty much grab a couple of these, or just grab one with a few units, and then you head to your opponent's base, and then you drop into their base, try and kill harvesters, tech buildings, units, anything like that. You can do a lot of damage. We will get, you know, as things go on, we'll show you how to drop efficiently, where to drop, when you know it's not safe, when to run away, stuff like that. So this is just, like I said, this is just the basics. So that's a medevac.
Heading out.
You may also want to note they heal 3 life per 1 energy. They have 200 energy, which is obviously 600 health that they can heal, and they heal at a rate of 9 health a second. In case you were wondering, because those stats aren't actually on here. That's just something I know. Okay, so that is the medevac. Next is the Raven, which is a really fun one. Alright, Ravens, like the ghosts, which these bad boys are spellcasters. So they have the mana, and these units only do spells. They don't actually attack, which is pretty different to your conventional RTSs. So what are their attacks, you might ask? We have a couple. Actually, we have 3. You have your standard one, which is called a turret. So this is pretty much deploys defense. You know, pretty straightforward. These attack up on ground. I'm not going to go into them, but these are pretty good. The next one is something called a PDD, which this is going to baffle you for a second, right? This is going to confuse you. A PDD is a defensive unit that will it'll absorb incoming projectiles. So if I bring these units here up to this, and I say I want to attack these turrets, right? See? If I try to attack, this just absorbs my shots, so they're not doing. These aren't being, you know, attacked. Obviously, this has a certain amount of cap. It's 10 energy per shot. It has 2 energies, 20 shots. There are certain mechanics, like you can take these out very quickly with high Templars, but we'll get onto that at a later point. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So these only stop projectiles, which are the attacks which you can see. So you'll see them come out, the attacks. And projectile attacks are dodgeable to an extent. Things like the Marine, which is this bad boy. The Marine doesn't have a projectile.
Outstanding.
Understood.
It's very
Order acknowledged.
I need a Raven.
Online.
Okay, so there's a PDD.
Order accepted.
If I select my Marines, it's not going to stop it anyway, but if I select my Marines and attack this, they can just kill it. That's because a Marine fires instantly. It's an instant hit. It's undodgeable. That's why when you see Stalkers for your Marines and you think, oh, you know, why are the Marines getting hits on the Stalkers? It's because they're instantly hit. The Stalkers, which are these, because you have to wait for their attack to hit, the Marines get a shot on when it comes to the micro battle. So yeah, those are two of the casts. The last one is very fun. This is called a Hunter-Seeker missile, which has a few different upgrades, which you can get at the starboard. But it's pretty much a bomb. I know it's a heat-seeking missile, pretty much. So if I hit C and I need to do it onto an enemy unit. So you'll see like a heat-seeking missile pop out of this in a second. You go woo! Oh no! Attack it! There we are. Oh! And I think I'm faster than this, so I will win. I'll run it. They do have like a 20-second delay time. If it doesn't hit these units, it dies. It'll just fall on the ground and start rolling. Oh, there we are. But if it does hit, it does a lot of damage, and it'll also do splash. So it can be a very efficient way of dealing with a big clump of units, mainly like mutas or corruptors or broodlords, because they're in the air, and air units naturally tend to stack a lot better than ground units. Okay, so there's the Raven, which is also a very expensive unit. Then we move on to the Banshee. Now the Banshee is air to ground only, which means it's in the air and it will only attack units on the ground. It can't attack air units. So if say you have a Viking a Banshee, the Viking will win because the Viking can attack it. The Banshee will just fly around and get hit. The Banshee does a lot of damage. They're very good units, the Banshees. They have a few upgrades. You can actually cloak them. So they can go invisible. Oh, that actually reminds me. The Ravens are detectors as well. They're movable detectors. So yeah, back into the cloak of the Banshee. So he's invisible. No one can see him unless you have detection. My phone doesn't stop going. Alright, so back to this. The Raven will do 13, well, it'll do 12 damage per shot as standard to any unit, and it doesn't have any bonus. So it won't do anything extra to light, armor, massive. But it does have 2 attacks. So 12 times 2 is obviously 24, and that's pretty quick as well. It shoots at 1.25, so that's a lot of damage. You see the 2 shots Marines. Oh, it should, but they have upgrades. So yeah, that's a Banshee. So cloak, and you can go over there. It's a pretty straightforward unit, the Banshee. Doesn't do much else other than that. Now we have the Battlecruiser. This is pretty much the Thor of the air for the Terran race. This does a lot of funky stuff. Let's give it its upgrades. It has, as you can see, it has a mana barber here, so of course it does do a spell. This is called the Yamato Cannon. And the Yamato Cannon is pretty powerful. It's just pretty much a big ball of fire that kills a lot of stuff really fast. I'll show you on this. So it goes. There we are. So that's pretty much Yamato Cannon. When you look at the Thor itself, because it is tier 3 and it does a lot of power, obviously it has to be balanced. It's very slow. When we look at its air-to-air weapon, because the Battlecruiser will attack air and ground, so its air-to-air is 6, and that's a 0.23 an attack at 0.23 seconds, which is absurdly fast. It actually does a lot of damage to the Battlecruiser. Then if you look at its ground, it does a standard 8 V ground, and then once again 0.23, so it does a lot of damage. Just the game mode's on slow, so it's normally a bit faster than this. But yeah, so that's a battle cruiser, absurdly slow. Oh, it may be important to mention as a Terran, right? These are your harvesters. These are the ones that mine money, these are the ones that build stuff, so there's a bunker. Things like, well, every mechanical unit, which comes out of the factory or the starport, so the Thor, the Banshee, the Ravens, the battlecruisers, the tanks, they're all repairable. So if I shoot this Thor, for example, and bring these SVs, if you see, you can right click on the repair to put them on auto repair, and when they're in range of something that needs repairing, they repair it. Straightforward. Same goes for the bunker by here. When you're getting attacked, you grab all your SCVs, put them on auto repair, and repair the bunker, and the bunker will stay alive for a very long time, which is really good. So there we are, it's automatically repairing the tank now. There we are, it's moving on to the Raven. See, if I attack.
I love a good raid. Alright. Yeah.
Save him.
Aggressive. I like it. I like it.
So, as you can see, they're fighting here, for example. So, this one's being repaired at the same time it's attacking, so it just lasts that much longer. It will die eventually, because it's being out damaged more than it's being out repaired. So, yeah, I would say that's pretty much everything about the Terran race. There's nothing, like, I don't really want to show you about all the upgrades on the buildings, because some of them are you're never going to use. I never see them in games myself, so I don't really want to waste your time. So that is the Terran race, and actually that took a lot longer than I expected, so let's speed up the rest of them. And like I said, these are the tech trees, so you want to go in, you want to pretty much have these memorized before you start playing. This is so important. And same for the Terran units. If you go in, you can click on every single one. It gives you quick information, you know, what they're weak against, what they're strong against, the abilities, the upgrades, the attack, the speed, the armor, everything like that. So just have a quick look. You'll find out what units are good at before you start playing. Now we can jump into the Protoss units, because as I said, I want to start off with the Terran because they're a very conventional real-time strategy race. So I think people will be able to understand them the easiest and then move on to the next, which is of course the Protoss. So let's go into the Protoss. And Protoss. These are all the Protoss buildings. So F12 into Protoss Factory. So you have the Nexus, which once again is the command center. It's of the Terran. It's where you build your harvesters and you take money once you mine it. Once you build that, you can build well, you can actually automatically build an assimilator, which is for your gas, and then you can build a pylon, which is your supply. So once again, if you build one of these, your supply goes up by by 8. So yeah, once you have your Nexus, you're allowed to build a gateway. So the gateway will allow you to build all these different units here. Once you build the gateway, you're allowed to build a forge. The forge is pretty much the engineering bay of a Terran. It gives you the upgrade. So once again, if I hit this, all ground weapons get 10% boost on attack power. Then, oh, of course, if you build a forge, of course, you could build a photon cannon, which wrong button. So here's a probe. If I can build a photon cannon right here, and these pretty much just attack. I have a terrible habit of doing that. So yeah, it's just going to attack. It attacks air and ground, and it detects. So anything in, like, say, that radius that's invisible, like the Banshee or the Ghost that I showed you, they will be spotted by this building. Okay, so next one is the Cybernetics Core. The Cybernetics Core is your tech building for the Protoss. It allows you to get to everything pretty much. because as standard you can only build a zealot.